What's up, guys? Today's gonna be a little different change of scenery. Yeah, I'm at work, so I know I haven't updated a video in a couple weeks, so I just wanted to do it. I'm waiting for an appointment, so I got some time to kill. So I figured I'll do it now and just get it out of the way. So today's episode, I'm gonna be talking about lighting. This is another part of the hobby that I feel like some people look a little too deep into. It all depends on what you're after. So like I said, the point of this whole series is really things that have worked for me and things that I've done over the years. I've tried multiple different setups. I've been doing this for, I don't know, 15 years or so. So it's been a while since I've been into the dart frogs. So I also had some tree frogs as well. But so without further ado, I guess I'll just get right into it. If you're looking for a decent setup, for a tank that I'd say 30 inches tall or less. I've never tried anything above it with this certain light I'm going to talk about, but anything 30 inches or less, I think the best budget, to me, I think it's a budget setup, especially when you're using a rack system, and it can pretty much do it entire one whole shelf. I get these. They're from, I think I get them from Lowe's. They are an Energy Star quad 48 inch. They hold T8 bulbs, and it runs about $50, and the bulbs are like $5 maybe. And I mean, it pretty much it lights an entire one whole shelf. So you spend about $55 and everything's lit. I've gotten really good plant growth out of it, and it's cheap. They're not too hot. It doesn't run super hot. I use the color temperature 6500. I always use that color temperature on all my tanks. But that I think is my go-to if I need something quick, and I know it's gonna work. My plants grow really well off it. It grows moss, bromeliads. Orchids have done well. I mean, everything's done well off it. I don't really have any problem with it. Margravia grows like crazy. Anything, biophytums. I haven't had any issues with it. So that's what I'd say is my go-to budget lighting. I have also done some of the LEDs, and the LEDs are really nice. And it's also really nice for, if you just have one tank somewhere, and a 48 inch, setup is too wide. If you just have one tank, say you put it in like in the living room or in the dining room or something like that, you want like a display tank like that. The LEDs are really nice. They also are very low wattage, really good growth out of them. They can be a little pricey in my opinion for just lighting one tank, but I've used Jungle Dawn growing glows. I have regular Jungle Dawns. I did a trade with Idris a few years back. Tinkman Herps, if you know who that is, that's Idris. Tinkman Herps, same guy. And he sent me a bunch of, I sent him some frogs. He sent me some off-brand, basically Jungle Dawns. Really, they look exactly the same. And good results with those as well, good growth. They were like the original Jungle Dawn, just they were all 6500 color temperature. They didn't have the blue or the red lights in them. But, I didn't like the blue and the red. For my eye, it wasn't what I wanted. So I like these, I don't know what he sells them for. I want to say 25 to $30 for, I think they're 16 inch, maybe 14 inch Jungle, or the off-brand ones. So I've used those and had good success with as well. But in my opinion, it just can be a little costly if you're doing a rack system with all LEDs. I think the quad T8 out, $50 setup from Lowe's is definitely more economic in terms of that. So, and then the other type of lighting I've used the LED bar. I've really only used that for accent lighting. You know, it has like thunderstorm setup, and it has, you know, some, you can change like night lighting, cloud, overcast. It has all kinds of setups like that. I really just used the brightest light during the day. I use nighttime during night, and if someone comes over and wants to see something, I'm like, it's kind of cool, and I'll show them the thunderstorm thing, and it's interesting. But on my display tank, my 180 gallon tank, I have the strip LED. It's a 48-inch. Current is the brand, I believe. Current LED. And it comes with a remote and everything. That's what I use for the accent. But the main lighting there, I have T5 high output. And it's got a really good ballast in it. I forget the company I got it from actually went out of business, but it's a really nice light. I think that light was about $200 for the light and the bulbs, but it obviously has really good growth. And I just, because that tank's 36 inches tall, so I just wanted to get something maybe with a little more power than the one from Lowe's. So I've used all three of those lightings, or light setups. I don't know, light settings, I don't think that's the right terminology. But I've used 3 different light setups, or 4 technically, and those are the ones I've had success with. You know, I've never used the Exoterra like compact lid. I think those are, yeah, I guess it makes sense if you're just doing one tank, but to do that on every single tank on a rack, that just makes 0 sense to do. Then I've used, you know, some of the bulbs. I used to go to like PetSmart or Pet Supplies Plus and get some reptile lighting and stuff like that, and it was garbage. I mean, it was super green and just weird looking. So yeah, as far as bulbs go, you know, I really, if one of my bulbs breaks on or just goes out on one of my Lowe's, I'll go to Walmart and pick up 4 6500 color temperature bulbs for, I think it's like $4 or $5. It's super cheap. Maybe it's $8. I can't remember if they're sold in packs of 2 or 4. I can't remember, but I think 2, whatever. They're cheap. So, and I just use those. I don't use any special bulbs. Basically, shop lights is basically what it is. And you know, there's just no need to go out and spend. Now, like I said, if you want, of course you can do that, but there's no need to do it. Obviously, the frogs don't really need the light. It's the plants, and depending on what plants you're having or you plan on using, you know, kind of determines what setup you should use. Like I said, I mean, I don't have any super expensive plants, but I have some, you know, $50 bromeliads, $30 bromeliads, and you know, Mark Ravia can get super expensive, and I have 0 problems growing it with the cheap budget shop lights. Basically, I have 0 issues with it. So that's what I generally use. But like I said, I mean, the racks, you normally, when you're looking at me on the video, the racks over here, those are the ones with the LEDs. The ones directly behind me are the cheap shop light. So obviously there's no tanks behind me now because I'm in my car. But yeah, that's what I generally use, and I have good success with it. Now, when it gets talking in terms of ultraviolet bulbs, some people think it's really beneficial to use on egg feeders, you know, Pamilio, Histrionica, Sylvatica, you know, any of the egg feeders really. So I do have an ultraviolet bulb, but not over my tanks, not over because it really doesn't penetrate glass. There's a couple different materials that it can penetrate. The names are slipping my mind right now. Obviously it can penetrate screen, but it can also tear up screen. So it weakens it and it gets really brittle. You can get holes. So that's, you know, ultimately not the best suggestion to go over a screen. So what I actually do is I have a bird lamp. It's got like a flexible neck on it, and it's a small bulb, but I think mine's 5 watts. You want to make sure you don't get something too high powered, or it can just cook them. It can cook the frogs if it's too hot and too bright. So I think mine's a 5 watt Forest UVB, and I do use that occasionally. It's not like something that every day I use it. It's sometimes I don't use it for a month or 2 months. But basically what I do is I slide my tank door, put the actual bulb inside the tank, so they get direct UVB light, and then I slide the tank back over, and then I tape over the spot where the neck is in. So I tape over so no frogs can escape that area. So, and I'll leave it in there for maybe an hour or 2 hours. Take the tape off, take the light out, shut the door, and move on to the next one the next day or something. If I'm in the frog room, it's when I, you know, if I'm in there doing maintenance and cleaning and doing tadpole stuff, you know, that's really when I use that. But other than that, it's just sitting in my room, taking up space. So that's I think that's really it for lighting. Like I said, I mean, you can do super expensive lighting if you feel the need to, but like I said, this whole frog video logs, whatever you want to call them, frogging with me videos, whatever, it's really just my personal experience and what has worked for me. So someone may have had terrible issues with, maybe they use the same exact lighting that I use and they had bad issues, you know, or just bad results, plants dying. That's very possible. Like I said, everything comes into play. Your lighting, your ventilation, your misting, all those things come into play with how your plants are going to do, and ultimately how the frogs will do as well. So for me, everything I've gone over so far with the misting, with the backgrounds, now I'm talking about lighting. I'll talk about tadpoles and water and stuff in some upcoming videos. I'm still waiting on my Lamani tank. I told the guy who's making it, you know, I ordered it over a year ago, so I'm a very patient guy. I'm not upset with him. He's got some issues with his health and stuff, so it's understandable, but it's going on a year, and you know, I have the frogs now. Hopefully it's a pair. So I've got them in a temporary tank, an 18 by 7 or 22 by 17 by 24. I want to get them out and put them in their permanent tank and get them breeding as soon as possible. So I told him basically, if it doesn't happen in the next month, then just send me my money back and I'll build my own tank, because it's been, I mean, I ordered it on July, I think it was like July 1st of 2016. So it's over a year I've been waiting, well, since I ordered the tank. I knew it wasn't going to be in, you know, I wasn't going to have it in a month or two. Originally I was supposed to have it in October, so that didn't happen. So I've been waiting since October, and he's had some stuff go down, but you know, whatever, hopefully it happens soon. If it doesn't, then I gotta build my own, which I'll take you guys along for that when I'm building my tank, how I do it, and what materials I use, and the whole process and all that. So yeah, that's gonna do it. I'll wrap it up for this, and you know, till next time, we'll see whatever I do. I'm not sure yet, but I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me in the comments what the next video you want to see, what you want me to talk about. You know, if it's tadpoles or vitamins, you know, mixing species, mixing morphs, whatever. Tell me in your comments, and I'll see what I can do. Till next time, keep frogging and enjoy your frogs. We'll see you.